The right to do anything I want to do. I'm the president of the United States. If I think our country's in danger, and it is in danger in these cities.
Trump talks of bloodshed, bedlam, squalor, and worse. Homicides in DC were actually down 32% last year and are down another 11% this year. On top of which, the city's official violent crime rate in 2024 was the second lowest reported since 1966. But obviously, crime stats don't matter to this administration. This is all about a show of power, just like it was in June when Trump deployed the National Guard to LA on similarly flimsy pretenses. And
I can do it. No problem going in and solving, his difficulty.
Oh, so you can waste more taxpayer dollars having them pick up trash. What happened to all the crime they were allegedly stopping to allow for the likes of Sean Hannity and his fiancée to dine out in peace, which the president felt the American people needed to know about over and over again.
There's a guy named Sean Hannity. He might take a very lovely young lady that he knows very well to dinner in Washington, and they don't have to, and she's sitting right next to you, by the way.
That's right.
But Mr. President, I don't want to get him in trouble, so I better explain exactly. We don't want any secrets here. But
exactly
that's the greatest relationship. I hope I'm not breaking any news. This could be the biggest, this could be the most important thing I said. But let me tell you, those are two great, Ainsley and Sean, great people. And
we appreciate you joining us this morning.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Ainsley, thank you. I hope I didn't get you in trouble with Sean. No,
we appreciate your support.
I'll say it. I like this. It's a great couple.
That's right. If you were online today, you'd likely have seen videos of the National Guard deployed to DC, picking up trash as part of their, quote, beautification and restoration projects. DC National Guard posted the video themselves on social media showing troops cleaning up in an area around a trail. They were shown hauling several garbage bags. This comes as Trump administration officials continue to be met with pushback by DC residents over what they've described as a gross overreach of power.
Some violent, crazy people who are screaming at kids with a few crazy liberals who are screaming at the vice president. But I think that's a very worthwhile trade to make because we want our people to be able to enjoy our beautiful cities. And the last thing I'll say is to the American people, DC is already safer than it was 9 days ago, but we're going to make it safer still to come. This is your city. You should feel free to come and visit here, have a meal, see all these incredible monuments, and actually enjoy yourself. And that's what we're trying to make happen. And I think that if we set a standard in Washington, D.C., that political willpower can bring some common sense, law and order back to these communities, then maybe some other communities and other cities will follow suit. So it's kind of crazy. You hear these guys outside. They appear to hate the idea that Americans can enjoy their communities.
And when videos like this surface, it does pose the question of whether this is the best use of their time or taxpayer dollars, especially when, according to those same Trump administration officials, the streets are supposedly plagued with crime. So why are they spending their time doing this? Now, of course, for anyone that has been paying attention, this has and will continue to be just another distraction from the Trump administration in the hopes that it deflects the conversation away from his plummeting poll numbers, which as of the most recent polls, CNN's Harry Enton, who Trump likes to refer to whenever it's somewhat positive, so I'm sure he'll ignore this, pointed out the irony of Trump saying that he's going to get rid of mail-in ballots at the suggestion of, check my notes here, Putin, a brutal dictator.
When you see Trump with Putin, as I have on a few occasions, he's like the 12-year-old boy that goes to high school and meets the captain of the football team. My hero. It is really creepy.
When Trump only won in 2024 because he greatly improved with mail-in ballots. So, I mean, he actually did worse versus 2020 with in-person voters. But sure, go ahead, Donald. Don't let us stop you.
With Donald Trump saying this week that he wanted to end mail-in voting nationwide, despite the fact that he has no real constitutional authority to do so, at least according to most major scholars, I think it's really important to point out that one of the big reasons why Donald Trump won in 2024 was because of an improvement with mail-in voting. Indeed, his improvement was so big that without his mail-in voting bump, he would have actually lost in 2024. What am I talking about here? Okay, Trump's margin in 2024 versus 2020. Among mail-in voters, get this. He did 9 points better. He did 9 points better in 2024 compared to 2020. Among in-person voters, get this. He did actually 5 points worse. He did 5 points worse. Therefore, the only reason that Donald Trump won in 2024 was because he did better with mail-in voting than he did back in 2020. Now, this, I think, is the really important thing when it comes to the Trump Republican coalition. They do better among voters of color. They do better among lower education levels, right? They do better among younger voters, all who have a lower propensity to turn out. Therefore, Donald Trump should try to be expanding the voting universe. Indeed, take a look at this statistic right here. Trump's 2024 presidential win. If all citizens voted, get this, his margin would have actually increased by 1 to 3 points, according to most studies. I went back and I looked at every single election I could, studied every single one. He is the first Republican nominee for president on record that I could find that would actually benefit from universal voting. That is, if every citizen or every eligible citizen voted.
And not to mention his chief propagandists are running cover, trying to spin their way out of the economic turmoil as a result of his on and off again tariff policy.
One that stuck out, it's fun, not feelings. And what's really not fun is what's going on with the American public today, or what they're feeling about the economy.
Is this another poll?
No, it's not actually.
Please,
it's headlines.
Oh my God.
Headlines.
In wake of Trump tariffs, John Deere announces mass layoffs. PepsiCo will increase carbonated soft drink concentrate prices by 10%. Sony is raising PS5 prices in the U.S. by $50 across all models, and electric bills are up 10% so far this year. The election, you can say it was about whatever you want, it was about cost of living. That's what it came down to. People said inflation hadn't come down enough. Joe Biden doesn't feel my pain. I don't want to hear about Bidenomics.
What's the inflation rate?
I mean, just today, more countries have joined the ever-growing list of those choosing to pause mail deliveries to the United States because of Trump's tariff chaos, including Italy, New Zealand, Spain, and many others.
Well, the Trump administration is ending a trade exemption that has allowed packages worth less than $800 to come into the United States duty-free. President Donald Trump eliminated what's called the de minimis rule for China and Hong Kong earlier this year. Now, though, that is being suspended for all countries effective August 29th. The White House calls it a catastrophic loophole used to dodge tariffs and sneak drugs into the country by exploiting lower inspection standards. Removing the trade exemption is expected to raise costs for imported goods and heighten scrutiny of low-value packages entering the U.S. But unanswered questions about the new process is prompting postal services in Germany, Denmark, Sweden, and Italy to suspend shipping of most merchandise into the U.S. effective immediately. France and Austria are expected to follow on Monday, and the UK's Royal Mail says that it will halt shipments to the US.
And as CNN recently pointed out, Trump's claim that his tariffs will force more manufacturing back on US soil is not based on anything substantive. In fact, it's just not true at all.
And Pamela, the two main reasons why President Trump says that he likes tariffs is that he wants to shrink trade deficits, but also bring manufacturing back to the United States. So we set out to answer that question. Has that actually happened? How many companies have moved 100% of their manufacturing to the United States since President Trump took office? Well, the answer, pretty clear. 0. And we've looked at big companies and mid-sized companies and still came up with that same answer. Of course, there could be some smaller companies that we don't know about, but the ones that we track, 0. Companies, though, instead of moving all of their manufacturing, have moved some manufacturing to the United States. And big companies that are really important to the U.S. economy, Apple, IBM, Johnson & Johnson, foreign automakers, Hyundai, Ford, and NVIDIA, the AI chip maker. And they have invested quite a bit already into the United States. Look at that. Apple, $600 billion. IBM, $150 billion. Johnson & Johnson, $55 billion. Hyundai and Ford together, $26 billion. And then an interesting way that NVIDIA is bringing revenue into the United States, 15% of all of their AI chips sold in China. Now those sales coming back into the United States. So Pamela, really the hurdles to setting up manufacturing in the United States is high labor costs and just the ability to manufacture the items themselves because there isn't the manufacturing set up here in the United States. A company called Afina, who I spoke to, they make shower heads. To produce one of their shower heads in China costs $129 for consumers to buy. But if they were to source the parts and make it right here in the United States, it would cost more than 80% more, $239 for the consumer. So the CEO wanted to see, hey, will any of my customers pay more if it's made in America? He sent an email to 25,000 of his customers and asked that very question. Here is what he found out, and here is what he told me. Watch.
We sold 584, I believe, of the made in China version, priced at $129. And unfortunately, zero made in the US version, priced at $100 more.
Were you surprised?
Yes.
So when videos like this emerge, it's important to not just highlight them, but point out what they're trying to distract your attention from. Part of a job he's doing.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.